Just recently, a customer at Target in Ohio had requested for reparations, and what she received was a one piece, all white meat. But seriously, I don't know if she deserved that. Well, she probably did. But overall, do we deserve reparations?
Pierce. Good morning. Thank you very much. Well, I think you know why I'm here. That's why I'm always coming. Where's the money? Where's the cash? Where's the check? Don't be afraid. Please don't be afraid. $5 million. San Francisco's already made a move. $5 million is nothing. We need to do this. We need to get the money. Where's the money? Let's get the money now. $223,000 for housing is not enough. We're looking at just the redlining. There's predatory lending. If you're African American, chances are you're paying more on your mortgage for the same amount of money as somebody else. And that's not right. So let's get the money. Where's the money?
Where's the money at, man? That was Reverend Tony Pierce demanding $5 million. But $5 million? Bro, really? I mean, where did they even get this number from? And why request something that is so astronomical is ridiculed? Unless it's not. Now look, there were some definite atrocities done to black people by white people in power after Civil War. I say after Civil War because to me, black folks, we don't deserve reparations for slavery. I mean, if we do, then we have to go to the countries off the west coast of Africa to get it, as they were the ones that sold, their own people into slavery for finished goods from the Europeans. So there, America does not owe black people reparations for slavery. Now, after slavery, I can see a case being made for that. I say that because after slavery had been abolished and the 14th Amendment had been ratified in 1868, granting black people as naturalized citizens, we should have received equal protection under the law. This to me is when America is held on the hook, and the main atrocities that held black people back, in my opinion, are sharecropping, convict leasing, and of course, Jim Crow. Now, black laborers back then were in constant debt due to sharecropping, where free black people in the South post-Civil War, they rented land from the plantation owners and they paid the landowners with a share of the crops. However, the laborers were, disadvantaged as they had to pay the plantation owners regardless if the crops weren't harvested, whether it was due to inclement weather or if the laborers got ill and could not work for certain periods, they still had to pay it. And this was unfair. That's why they was in constant debt. Then my second part, convict leasing, is where black men were incarcerated, with most of them due to, harsh law enforcement policies, and they had to work their time on local plantations. And this has basically come to free labor due to unfair justice system that held black people back during the Reconstruction era. So to me, that was very unfair. And of course, the creme de la creme, Jim Crow. Jim Crow alone just made me want to really think hard about this whole reparations issue. Because Jim Crows were, anti-black laws were normalized predominantly in the South post-Civil War. Things, of course, such as segregation, a biased judicial system, and many other standard prejudices were a way of life for black people, back then. Jim Crow, in my opinion, was beyond unfair. It was egregious. So I'm quite liberal when it comes to reparations, as I believe in the spirit of the sentiment that compensation is required due to, historical wrongdoings. Now, this is where I get a little bit libertarian on it. It's not for every black person. I mean, if reparation is an issue that's going to be taken seriously, then I would be okay with it, because also some other groups have received some form of reparations in the past, like how some Japanese families received it during the internment after World War II. So if reparation was to happen, then I say, one, black folks are going to have to prove their lineage from the group that was oppressed. And I think they should add certain requirements, like, you can't have a current criminal record, or you can't owe outstanding debts like tax liens, collections, or bankruptcies. Now, how much? That's a bit hard to say. But where I would start is at real estate. They say black Americans were robbed of generation wealth. And we all know one way of building wealth is by, owning a home. So I would use the average median price as my starting point. And we know in real estate, it's all about location, location, location. So for example, if you prove you are a descendant of a black person or family who resided in, let's say, Montgomery, Alabama, then you get the median home price of a home in Montgomery, Alabama, which today is like around $130,000. And if you were in New Orleans, Louisiana, it's about $345,000. And the government can do this like a lottery and, amortize the payment over the course of like 10 years. And once again, this is not a cash payment, but something better than that, but equity, which actually goes up in value. And the government agency can hold the house's title as collateral until the 10 years up. And at that point, you could, refinance or sell the house and make some money. I mean, that's a start. However, I have a feeling that this still is not going to be enough.
I believe that $5 million in reparations is too little for the work that foundational Black Americans have done for this country and as well for other countries. I believe that $7.6 million is a number that can be used very wisely in our foundational Black American communities.
What we're seeing again is there was no basis for this since California was never a slave state. But what we're seeing here is that Democrats are pushing this aggressive agenda, and it's probably for political purposes. Perhaps this will become a 2024 top-of-ticket issue. When you look at the Democratic agenda today, they have very few issues to run on. We have surging crime, an open border crisis, inflation. So perhaps this will be the ultimate tool for their 2024 playbook.
And that's the thing to me. The case for reparations, to me, it's just a joke. Even if it's deserved, it's going to have to be taken by force. Seriously. Otherwise, it's just a talking point used as a tool to constantly stroke the racial fire by bringing up slavery and not focus on moving forward.
But reparations is not real. And this is no disrespect to activists like Yvette Carnell, Antonio Moore, Tariq Nasheed, Michi X, Dr. Umar, any of those activists in the reparations space. But my article dismantles the legislative narrative around reparations by asking 4 common sense questions. 1, why would Democrats, the party of the poor, want Black people to be rich? If all Black people were suddenly rich and the struggle policies of the Democrat Party no longer suit us, it'd be electoral suicide for them. That's why it would never happen. 2, why didn't Democrats pass reparations when Obama and had the supermajorities in Congress to do it? Because, again, they never had any intention of passing reparations. They just used the promise of reparations as a wedge issue to keep Black people voting for them. I always say over and over again, happy Black people don't vote for Democrats.
Right.
Bernie Sanders said years ago, you can never lose that sense of outrage. They want Black people to be upset all the time about things that are never going to happen. If the Democrats really wanted reparations for Black people and really want Black people to be whole, they could push something that actually could pass.
Yo, my man pretty much summed it up right there. At the end of the day, when it comes to reparations, like I said, the plan, in my opinion, is to keep Black people in a perpetual state of victimization, of feeling oppressed, therefore depressed, as opposed to, a level of optimism where you take advantage of the opportunities around you. The advantages, the opportunities that this country offers, where you can capitalize by working hard, and, working smart, investing your time and money wisely, buying real estate, gold, stocks, bonds, etc., things of that nature. I mean, these are things we need to focus more on than seeing what the government can give us. Because when the government gives, then the more it takes. But whatever the government and these local officials decide to do, whatever they do not compromise the safety of the people and take the funds needed to protect our borders from this fentanyl crisis that's happening right now. I mean, this drug issue, in my opinion, is more important than reparations. However, I think that the fentanyl issue, just like reparations, could have been avoided if certain things were taken care of by our government decades prior. I discuss that more here, and why the influx of fentanyl is more detrimental to Black folks than not receiving reparations.
So let's get the money. Where's the money?